Hi lovelies, welcome and welcome back to my channel. Hope you all are doing well. In today's recipe I share how to make the Nigerian suya spice. So if you want to learn or see how to make this, then please stay tuned and keep watching. You'll be needing some peanut cake for this recipe, and this is what we all know as kuli in Nigeria. It is made out of peanuts and it usually comes in different sizes and shapes. So this is what mine looks like. You also need some uda, some cloves, some black pepper, some ehuru or ehu, some dry pepper, and allspice. The allspice here in this recipe is totally optional, okay? So feel free to omit that if you prefer. You also need some onion powder, some garlic powder, some ginger powder, some smoked paprika powder, some curry powder, and also some Maggi. I'm using Maggi. You can use chicken seasoning or any other seasoning you prefer. And lastly, some salt to taste. To get started, I'll begin by roasting the dry spices on a medium heat for like 30 seconds, except the dry pepper, which I'm going to be adding in later, and this will help to intensify the flavor of the suya spice. So for this recipe, I'm using seedless uda because the seeds can be quite bitter. So if you can get the seedless ones, that will be perfect. And you don't need much. Let me say about 4 to 5 strands, okay, will be perfect for this recipe. And I've just added the dry pepper. I'm going to go ahead now and roast this for additional 30 seconds, and then I will set it off the heat. So I love to use black pepper in my suya spice instead of uziza seeds because I don't like my suya tasting like pepper soup, if you get what I mean. Yeah, so if you use uziza seeds, you're not gonna get the exact results I got, okay? So at this stage, I'm just using my rolling pin to crush the peanut cake or the kuli, okay? That's way it's more easier for my blender to blend or to crush, whichever one. So this is what we have. All right, so moving over to the next stage, in a small bowl, combine all the powdered ingredients and also crush in your seasoning cubes. So once that is done, you want to go ahead and grab a whisk or a spoon, then mix well to combine. All right, so now that our dry mix is nicely combined, let's proceed to make our suya spice. And please note before we get started, please, if your blender is not strong enough, I recommend you blend this one first in a dry mill before combining everything in a blender, okay? So next I'm going to go ahead and scoop in the crushed peanut cake or kuli or kuli. And I'm also going to scoop in the powdered mix. I'm using a spoon because I don't want to make a mess, okay? Just in case you're wondering. And once that is done, I'll go ahead and cover that up, and then I'm going to blend till it is nicely smooth and also well combined. So you can also sift the suya spice mix after blending, but my blender did a good job. I'm just going to let this sit here for about 15 to 20 minutes to cool off a bit because they are usually hot after blending. And then I'll go ahead and store them in my storage container. All right, so at this stage, I'll go ahead and store the suya spice in an airtight container. And I love to store mine in my freezer, okay? This can last up to a year in the freezer, but however, feel free to store yours in your pantry, that's your kitchen cupboard, or even in the fridge. But in the freezer, it stores up to a year, okay? That's depending on the quantity you make and how you use them as well. If you're gonna be storing in your kitchen pantry, you can store them for like a month depending on the quantity as well, okay? And if you're storing in the fridge, it can last up to 6 months as well in the fridge. So I hope you give this recipe a try, and yeah, let me know how it turns out for you. You can use this suya spice for your beef suya, chicken suya, fish suya, gizzard suya, and name them, okay? So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye for now.